Welcome back to the Etsy Payments dashboard from Made on the Common. This is part 3 of the video tutorial where I'm going to show you how to use your dashboard, what each of the various tabs show you, what information they contain, and how to use it to get the information that you need for your shop. In the final section, I'll show you how easy it is to update the template next month, so when you get to the end of the next month and you want to download some more data into the file. If you remember in part 2, we set up the template for using it for the first time. So we input all of the data we needed onto this front sheet, worked out what our opening balance was, and then decided what reporting period we wanted to see. And this one, we've currently got it to January 2019, so this will show us the 12 months for the whole of 2019. We've refreshed the data, refreshed all the reports, and we're ready to go. The data I've got at the moment is up to the end of April, so that's what we should see when we go through the template. So the first report that we have is your payment data tab. Now this is just a copy of your download from Etsy, basically the raw data that you put into the file. It's quite detailed and some of it's not very clear to read. The good things you can do with this are, if you want to see what happened on a particular date, you can filter by date. So if I just wanted to see 2019, transact all of March, you can do that. You can pick on a particular date within the month, see the 25th of March, see what happened then. So that's just a quick way of finding a particular transaction. You can also filter by type. So if you wanted to see all of your listing fees, for example, you just click there and it will pull them up here. The other thing I just wanted to show you on this tab is if I go over to the right hand side, these blue columns are ones that have been added for the dashboard, so you don't get this on your Etsy download, these have been added into this file. And the one that I wanted to just show you is this revenue. So I think I explained before that the number that you see on Etsy for sales is slightly misleading. This is the number that I downloaded from Etsy. It's actually your sales price, so whatever price you've sold your product for, plus any VAT that's been added, and then it has the fees taken off, the payment processing fees already taken on. In this case, you can see it's showing me a sales amount of £8.13. If I took the net figure, it would show £6.97, which doesn't add up. If you take 8.13 minus the 8.50 minus the 53 pence, you don't get to 6.97. Within the file, we actually use revenue to show our sales figure. So this is the actual price that you sold your product at. So it doesn't include sales tax or VAT, and also doesn't have the payment processing fee netted off it. So when we look at our sales numbers throughout the file, you'll see revenue as opposed to your downloaded amount that you would see on Etsy. This means that you can use the figures from this dashboard straight into your bookkeeping, whatever system you use. It gives you the right sales number and the right fees. So it's a much more accurate number to use. That's really all you need to worry about on this sheet. Don't delete anything or change anything because this one gets updated automatically every time you refresh the data. The second tab, Deposits Data, is again, this is your download. This was the second download that we did, your deposits that have been made from Etsy. So every time that Etsy has transferred money to your bank account, you will see the deposits appearing on here. We then get into the first of the reports that have been built into this dashboard. Now this one gives you a nice overview of what's happening for your shop. At the top of the sheet, you've got a 12-month overview. So whatever dates you selected on the first sheet will get pulled through here. You get a little payment statement first of all. So your opening balance, I'll show you how that updates in a minute. Then anything that's been earned in the month. So this is what's gone through your payment account in the month. So your revenue, as we discussed earlier, your fees and taxes to give you your net income from Etsy in the month. And then it takes off anything that's been paid into your bank account already, and also any payments that you've made. So if your fees are more than your sales, you would owe money to Etsy, and this will get picked up here. This gives you your current balance. So if your downloads are up to date from Etsy, this should be the current balance that is on your Etsy payment account if you went live onto Etsy. In the centre, you've got a graph just showing your movement by month. And then over the right-hand side, we break down these two figures here, so your revenue and your fees and taxes, so you can see exactly what's been going on in your payment account during the 12-month period. So all of your fees and taxes broken down here. If you've got any sales tax might be in here, any promotional fees, marketing fees, any refunds you would see that in both columns, so refund of your sales and also the refund that you get back on your fees and taxes paid. If I just show you what happens if I update the dates here, so if I put this back to October, which is when we started the downloads, go back to the dashboard, you can see this is now automatically updated. So my opening balance is now the figure that I keyed into the first sheet. You see the current balance hasn't changed. All it does is updated your numbers. So you can always get a good overview of what's happening into your account, and you can see the chart now is updated to show more months. If you click this bar at the left-hand side, you can just hide that top month view just so we can concentrate on the bottom half of the sheet. The monthly overview, you can select any month within these dates here and get a more detailed breakdown of what's happening. So you've got exactly the same payment statement as we saw above, but this time just for 1 month. If we change the month that you can see here, you'll see the figures have changed, your closing balance has changed. This is the closing balance of the month you've shown here. If I go back up to February, you can see I got paid everything that was due within the month, so there's no change for February. This breakdown of fees just gives you a percentage view of what's impacted your fees in the month. This is quite useful if you think your fees seem very high compared with your revenue in a month. So in February, I had vacation for a couple of weeks, so my revenue was really low. It was not a good month for me. But my fees were very high relative to how much I'd earned, and it was because I can see here that I did a lot of listings. I think I renewed a lot of listings and listed a lot of new products, so that's why that number was so high. But again, that just updates automatically whenever you change the month, so you can get a quick view. To show the 12-month again, there's a little box here, just click that and you get back to the view that we started with. 12-month payments. This gives you a more detailed view. If I just expand the total income. So again, you get your income and your fees that have been earned on Etsy for each month within the 12 months that you've decided to look at. So it just gives you a good, quick way of viewing everything that's been going on in your shop. It calculates your net income, so your total income minus your fees and taxes gives you figures down here. And then at the bottom of the page, you can just have a look at how much has been paid and how much you've paid to Etsy. So you've got everything on one page. If I want to just hide the breakdown of that, you just get a better view there. And again, this will update automatically as you change the month that you want to see on the top page. The 12-month detail gives you a breakdown of each of whatever you see under your fees column here. So if I go into 12-month detail, you've got the same months that you can see, and up here you can select what fees you want to see. Do you want to see your sales, which is your payment processing fees, your listing fees, transactional fees, and your VAT? This is quite useful if you pay VAT on your fees, as I do based in the UK. You can get a breakdown of what VAT has been paid. The 12-month deposit sheet, this is actually one of my favourite sheets, being a sad accountant that I am. You can get a reconciliation of what your current balance is or your closing balance at the end of a particular month. Again, this is a good one if you look at your current balance on Etsy and don't think it's reflecting all of your sales, or that you're not getting paid as much as you thought. If you look back at November here, you can see I actually earned £9.71 from Etsy, but I only got paid £8.43, and that's because I had a balance brought forward with money that I owed from Etsy. So this is particularly if you do promotions. You might start the month, you might have had a big promotion month, say in December. You start January with a balance owing to Etsy. That will then be taken off anything that you've earned from Etsy during January. So it just helps you understand what your current balance is made of. The final two sheets just give you a bit more of a breakdown for more specific details. So on this one you can select a month. If I wanted to look at April, you can get a breakdown of what's gone on each day by type. You can close that up if you don't want to see the individual days and just see what's gone through the account. If you want to highlight all of these, if you right click on the date, go to expand collapse, and do collapse entire field, it just takes everything back to the date, and then you can look at a particular day and see what's gone on. If you wanted to, you could then go back to your payment data over here, filter on the 14th of April and see all of the details behind those numbers. Final sheet is great. This one is really good if you prefer to record your income when you receive it into your bank rather than when it's been earned on Etsy. And what you can do is it breaks down the deposit amount that you've received into what's made it up. So instead of just recording your Etsy income as $36.62, you could actually record it as sales of $44.55, less fees of $7.93. So it just gives you a bit more detail, a little bit more accuracy into your bookkeeping numbers. It also helps you understand when you've received an amount of money exactly what was behind that. And the way it works is it just takes all of the transactions that happened between this date and the previous date. So you select a different date, those numbers will update automatically. So that's it. Various different reports that you can use to help understand your Etsy payments in a little bit more detail. And I think it's a little bit more easy to understand than it is by just getting the raw download of data. In the final section, I'm going to just walk you through updating this report next month. You'll see how easy it is and that all of the hard work you've already done, you don't need to repeat, you just need to download, click refresh and go. So in this final section of the video tutorial, I'm just going to show you how easy it is to update your figures when you come to the end of next month and you need to refresh your dashboard. So I've got my figures in the dashboard at the moment up to the end of April 2019. So I want to add in May. So if I go to my May payment account, click on May, click on CSV because I want to download it. Remember you need to save as because it needs to go into the folders that we set up earlier. This is a payment download, so I want to go to my payments, save, let's finish downloading. Now I need my deposits information, so this is under settings, options, download data. I want my deposits information. I want it for May 2019. Again, save as. To the deposits folder. Okay, and that's it. So we now have May data into the folders. I now need to update my template. So if I go back to start here, refresh all data, refresh all reports. So you can see that I now have May 2019 in here already. Go to the dashboard, we can see that's updated automatically. If for any reason you go in here and this hasn't updated, I would go back to the start here, just press refresh reports again. It just sometimes takes a couple of clicks to get it into there. But you can now see that this is updated automatically. If I now look at just May, I can see what happened in May, how much I received, how much I was paid, and what my closing balance was at the end of May. Your 12-month reports, again, have now updated. So you've got an extra month in there, again with detail, and your deposits has moved on a month, so now you can check that that was your closing balance at the end of May. And that's it. That's all you need to do at the end of each month. That's how easy it is. It literally takes about 2 minutes to update your dashboard. So good luck. I hope it gives you the information you need. If when you're using your dashboard there's a view or a report that you think would be really helpful that isn't built in automatically, just drop me a note, either an email to sarah@madeonthecommon.com or via Etsy Convos, and I'd be willing to look at it, and maybe if you'd find it useful, so would a lot of other Etsy sellers, and I can update the dashboard for everybody. So good luck, and I hope you like your new dashboard.